Hi doctor, I am Madhurta Sukumaran. My metric number is 279647. These are my group members and we are from group 4. Our assignment title is The Impact of COVID-19 on Malaysia Economy in Labour and Employment in Agriculture Sector. Now I am going to explain research background. Malaysia is a developed and harmonious country. The development of country depend on three economic sector, which is primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. The agriculture sector is included in primary sector. The agriculture sector is the most oldest and the most important sector in Malaysia. In addition, food supply highly dependent on agriculture sector only. So we can say that agriculture sector is play major role in society and country GDP. However, the condition of the agriculture sector became worse during the COVID-19 pandemic. What is COVID-19 pandemic? COVID-19 pandemic is the new pandemic that experienced by all countries. The first case of COVID-19 reported in Wuhan, China, and it's spread fastly to other countries. In Malaysia also, day by day, the cases are increases. So, to stop the spread of COVID-19, government announced movement control order, which is people not allowed to go anywhere. Because of this situation, labours are started to suffering, especially in the agriculture sector. So, the research objective is to study impact of COVID-19 on labour and employment in agriculture sector.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Nudin and today I will explain about our problem statement and research question. So first of all, for our problem statement, currently our rate of unemployment in Malaysia rise to 4.7%. This means our growth of the economy has been jeopardized and will affect our GDP. So we identified this problem while researching the impact of COVID-19 on Malaysia's economy in labor and employment in the agriculture sector. And for the research question, the question that we spread out to society is, what is the impact of COVID-19 on Malaysia's economy in labor and employment in the agriculture sector? Hi, it's me.
Hello everyone, I will talk about the employment rate in Malaysia's agriculture sector in my presentation. As we can see, shown in the graph that in year 2020, the employment rate of agriculture sector is lower than the previous year, which is year 2019. It has been dropped as much 0.1%, where the employment rate in 2019 was 6.2%, and in year 2020 is only 6.1%. Over and above that, the number of employed persons into 2020 fall by around 0.8% to around 15 million persons. As a conclusion, the pandemic COVID-19 affect the Malaysia economic and social environment, as well as the labor market in agriculture sector.
I am continue with unemployment rate. Unemployment rate refers to percentage of employment that is not working or being unemployed. The higher unemployment rate affect the economic growth of the country. This graph shows that overall unemployment rate in Malaysia. From this, we can see that during the COVID-19 pandemic, unemployment rate in Malaysia increasing. Even though we did not get accurate data in agriculture sector, but from the overall data, we can assume that unemployment rate in agriculture sector recorded higher during the COVID-19 pandemic. This proven by some researchers. Researchers says that during the COVID-19 pandemic in agriculture sector happened shortage of labor, farmers losing their business and labor market also decreasing. So we can say that these factors are lead to increasing unemployment rate in agriculture sector.
Now, let's look into the gross domestic product in 2019 and 2020. Due to the increase of unemployment rate, where there is a lack of workforce, Malaysia GDP decreased by 5.6% compared to the GDP in 2019. The agriculture industry provided 7.4% of Malaysia GDP in 2020. However, the percentage of growth declined 2.2% from 2% in 2019. In general, the output of main agriculture products in 2020 are being lower than in 2019. Production of oil palm shows a declination of about 2,096,000 tons. Despite the declining of output, oil palm still the greatest contribution to agricultural production. On the other hand, compared to the previous year, natural rubber and pebbles also had shown decline of about 125,000 tons and 3,000 tons respectively. So, what are the factors affect agriculture GDP to decrease? Well, this may be caused by the shortage of workers in agriculture industry. Besides, many areas had labor restriction imposed as a result of quarantine. Then, the loss of workers owing to the COVID-19 fatality and significant sickness also is a factor affect agricultural GDP to decrease. Now, we will look into the external trade in the agriculture sector. In 2020, overall agriculture exports are projected to rise from Rm 115.5 billion in 2019 to Rm 118.6 billion. In the meantime, overall agriculture imports are recorded to expand to Rm 98 billion in 2020, up from Rm 93.5 billion in 2019.
Hi, it's me again. Now I will explain about the budget in 2019. So first of all, in budget in 2019 in agriculture sector, around 4.417 billions has been spent in the agriculture sector, which is 3.057 billion for operating expenditure, and the remaining for it is for development expenditure. And for the R&D, research and development, 47 million has been spent into it, and 80 million of it for agro-food industry. And lastly is 52 million for training program, which is youth program and more, and anything related to it. And now I will explain about budget 2020 in agriculture sector. So in 2020, around 550 million oil palm planting loans for smallholder and cultural free at an interest rate of 2% per annum, with a tenure of 12 years, including a 4-year moratorium on repayment. And then 27 million has been spent to support the Malaysian Palm Oil Board effort to market palm oil internationally and counter anti-palm oil campaign. Then B20 biodiesel for the transport sector to be implemented by end of 2020. Then again, 100 million has been spent for rubber production incentive to enhance the income of smallholder faced with low rubber prices. The next one is 810 million has been spent for the welfare of Felda community, and 738 million for the Rubber Industry Smallholder Development Authority RISDA, and the Federal Land Conservation and Rehabilitation Authority FELCRA to implement various income generating programs to benefit the more than 300,000 RISDA and 100,000 FELCRA smallholder. And the last one is allocation to Ministry of Agriculture raised from 4.4 billion in 2019 to 4.9 billion in 2020, with a special focus on enhancing income of farmers. That's all for me.
So for my part, is about agriculture policy. And agriculture policy set forth the country agriculture goals, and in a specific time. Plantation were prioritized before the first national agriculture policy, since they benefit only for the British. Starting in 1984, the strategy mostly targeted rural poverty, so the Malaysia developed some policy connected to the employment rate. the first national agriculture policy around 1984 until 1991, a critical time in the change and the growth of Malaysia economy occurred between 1984 and 1990. From this period, the agriculture sector overall had some problems such as favorable policy for industry, manpower shortage, the increasing cost of production, and the competition for the land with other industry. This strategy is to highlight economic disparity between traditional and commercial farmer. The second national agriculture policy around 1992 to 2010, following the first national agriculture policy. The second is has been introduced to improve the approach. This policy attempt to address difficulty in the agriculture industry, particularly domestic and the global market, and the increasing of the farm program to give opportunity for smallholder farmer to earn more income. So the third national agriculture policy around 1998 to 2010 is the NAP3 updated the NAP2 when the government realized the impact of Asian financial crisis AFC and the financial market deregulation on our company. They devised the policy. As a result, this strategy focused efficient labor capital management. This approach intended for enhancing the program and developing agriculture land. The policy and other goal is improve human resources development. And the last one, the national agro-food policy around 2011 and 2020, the agriculture sector containing issues such as production space, labor shortage, and the production cost. The national agro-food policy NAP4 was created to address global and local market issue. The policy aimed to promote sustainable agriculture. So by 2020, this agriculture policy should be create to help agriculture industry should create roughly 109,000 new jobs, largely in rural area. In additional effort have been taken to ensure that the agriculture industry has experienced workers and the staff. So for other general program for employment, we have an employer retention program, which is government introduced this program 1 March 2020 for employees who agree to take up 6 months of unpaid leave with a minimum of 30 days. Employers earning less than 4,000 per month are eligible financial help of 1,600 per month for a maximum 6 months of unpaid leave. So the second is a wage subsidy program was also introduced by government to help firms retain all the workers and employees who have a reduced household income. During the first 3 months of the program, employees must neither terminate or ask employers to take unpaid leave. Employers cannot apply for migrant workers. Therefore, anyone earning less than 4,000 will be eligible for 600 monthly per employee subsidy starting 1 April 2020.
In conclusion, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, we can see the impact on Malaysia's economy in labor and employment in the agriculture sector. Firstly, we can see a decline in the employment rate in the agriculture sector, and at the same time, the overall unemployment rate had increased significantly. In addition, agriculture GDP also shown declination in 2020. To develop the country agriculture industry as well as enhance the output and income, the budget for the Ministry of Agriculture and Agro-based Industry is expected to increase by 0.5 billion. Besides, some program and agriculture policy were also introduced to develop the agriculture sector, such as National Agro-Food Policy by 2020.
In order to develop the agriculture industry and safeguard employees during the pandemic COVID-19, there are some recommendations that can be made. So the first one is ensure the whole food supply chain is running smoothly by recognize some activities and then authorize them to operate. Next suggestion is increase the salary subsidy amount. It helps in prevent employees from being laid off or being forced to take unpaid vacation. Basically, subsidies safeguard the country's food supply. And last but not least, have access to the Employment Retention Program, or also known as ERP, is also helps in develop the agriculture industry and safeguard employee during the pandemic. This will protect self-employed insured people against workplace injuries such as occupational illness and accidents while they are engaged in work-related activities. That's all from me. Thank you.